We are now joined by the winner of the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race, Kurt Busch, driver of the 41 Monster Energy Haas Automation Ford for Stewart Haas Racing, and crew chief Billy Scott. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. Please raise your hand, and we will get you a mic. Just state your name and affiliation, please. We'll go to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, kickingthetires.net and PRN. We were doing some numbers, and the last time we were at Victory Lane here was probably most of these people are in high school. So how's it feel to be locked in for the playoffs now with this big win?
Did you replace the batteries in your calculator? Probably wore it out. It's been a while, and I'll tell you, this track brings out the best in everybody, and just to come here, to feel that Saturday night atmosphere and racing under the lights, it brings you back to the roots. And to have Billy Scott and has your first win, short track racer that grew up going through all the different tracks, and then when you come to the holy grail of short tracks, you want to win it. And so I'm just proud of his effort, the whole team. And I'm always a little bit more nervous when my dad's at the track. He's watching, he sees every move, and there's things that you do on restarts that he taught me from the beginning. And it's just the Saturday night atmosphere is family, and it brings out the best in you, and I'm glad we were able to deliver tonight. I mean, the race was incredible. Every time I looked in the mirror, it's somebody different. Restarts, I look in the windshield, it's somebody different. A ton of fast cars tonight.
Any other questions? We'll go right over here. It's in front of you.
Dustin Albino, front stretch. Kurt, how much did that damage affect the car on the second lap?
I'm glad it didn't. I didn't really know how much was there. I just told the crew what I could see from the inside of the car, and that the hinges were intact, and that's a good sign. And so the thing was, the hood was just folded up, and as long as they get that flat and get the tape on there, that still held our downforce at least at 90%. I mean, we weren't full front downforce because of the damage, but it's a short track, and as long as you got enough, and it all held together after the first application. We didn't have to keep coming back in to fix it again, so I hit it once, and we were able to move on.
We'll go down here to Bob.
Bob Hockersey, ESPN2 for you, Kurt. First, how much of a transition period was it this year to work with a new crew?
There was that little transition period just because we weren't together last year. And, working with Billy Scott, he's very committed as a great lead engineer with William and a group of guys that know what needs to be done. It's just a matter of us working through practice sequences, that feel in qualifying. As the race progresses, what adjustments do we need? And you can add to this. I think that we turned the corner at going to Loudon a few weeks ago, and yet we have never been to Loudon, but we treated like it was the second Phoenix. And we sat on pole, led most laps at a flat 1 mile track, and it's like, it's time now. We've been a consistent team, but we're starting to crush that corner of now we need to win, and we got the win tonight.
Yeah, much to that point is Kurt's got a lot of experience and knowledge to know what it takes to get the job done and how to keep perfecting the car as the race goes. And we did make a conscious effort to keep start out the year having a lot of good runs in the first part of the race and winning stages and running up front. But it's just it's a lot to capitalize on it and adjust in the right direction at the right time. And that's something that is tough here of all places. And tonight, we had good feedback back and forth on what direction to go and what we need weekly to keep getting better toward the end of the race.
I think we've helped each other because you were relying on a ton of my experience, but at the same time, now I'm starting to step back, and the way we joke around about our setups, yeah, we'll change this, that, the other thing, we'll just shoot the middle. All right, yep. Because that's how close we're starting to narrow down on it, and it feels good going into each of our sessions now, not having big questions going into practice or qualifying or the race.
Yeah, it's nice to. With anything, it takes time to learn that communication and what somebody means. But I think now when he says something pretty simple and short on the radio, we get what he's talking about.
And also, Kurt, obviously, any win since you hadn't won since the Daytona 500 last year, I'm sure it's a good time to win. But is there no better time to win to kind of show your focus on this year when there's all sorts of chatter about what you're doing next year?
Yeah, winning's great anytime, no matter how long there was in between. The motivation's always there, and to have a group of guys like Billy and so many first-time winners on this crew of the 41 car. I remember winning my first race here at Bristol, and we all got special rings. I'm going to get all the guys rings for their first win. It's big. It's a moment, and I've been pushing hard to get those guys to victory lane, and I'm glad I can deliver. And for me, you never waver. You keep focused, and the timing was perfect with our team gelling and this, Bristol night race. You go after it, and then with the rumors on the outside, it's all rumors, and you just stay focused. Just stay laser focused on the task, and that's what I love. Putting my helmet on, even though I left my helmet, I guess, out on the track after I won. I'll have to go find another one, but yeah, you put that helmet on, and it's go time. Yeah. Perfect. Can I make top 5 helmet tosses?
Michael Massey with FrontStretch.com. How does it feel to be one of the few guys that can say they won at the old Bristol and the new Bristol? There's only probably, I don't know, like 3 guys that have done that maybe.
Yeah, this track's been kicking my butt since they redid the concrete and then reground the outside lane, and then have been throwing the traction compound on the bottom lane. Today was funny. It was like lap, 150? The bottom lane was so caked up with just everything. It was like a punk rock kid in the 80s just continuing to put dippity-doo gel in his hair and then going again the next day with more. And it was more. And the bottom groove was a hot mess. And I'm like, the outside's going to come into play. Always have to stay cool here. You have to roll with what damage you have here. And you have to find lanes on restarts that'll work. And at the end of the day, if you're in position at a certain lap number, I've always had a lap number in my head, and we were right where we needed to be, you got to deliver. And I'm glad that Billy put me in that spot to win here, and it's great to win on the old one, to win on the new one. It's been a while.
We'll go to Jim, Daniel, Jenna, and then Jerry.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. Kurt, you mentioned out on pit road that you considered you guys were the most consistent team this season that didn't have a victory. A lot of people often search for the consistency that you've already shown this season. Now that you have the victory, do you feel that you've got all the pieces necessary to contend for the championship?
I feel like we've had them from the get-go. It's just a matter of them maturing. And now a win doesn't change anything. We're going to go like the same group of guys to attack, to get the best out of each session, to know what we're supposed to do with the tires, qualifying, aero. There's no reason for us to change anything on what we're doing because there's just this nice progression. Each and every week we have not more confidence, but more clarity. And just keep going. We're going to keep it simple.
Dale McFadden with NBC Sports. Given how long it's been since you last won here, where does this win rank for you among your wins, like in the second half of your career since then?
See, ranks 1 for me. That's easy.
Race 1, bro. I always wanted to get to 30. This is a big win for me tonight. I grew up at Roush Racing watching a guy named Mark Martin help me. He was a great mentor, and I looked up to him as a racer. And he had, 33, 34 wins. You've worked with Mark. I think he might have ended his career with 40. And I said early on, before I'd even won my first ever race, I'm like, if I can get to 30, that's a pretty special career. Made it tonight. I'm choked up about it. I really love this win tonight. And to have 6 Bristol trophies is special.
We'll go over here to Jenna.
Hey, Kurt, you mentioned the 30. You and your brother are the only 2 brothers with 30 wins each now in series. And you are, I believe, 5th and 6th all-time on Bristol's win list. I understand your guys' background, but what is it that made this place a place that you 2 both could click? I mean, is it genes? I don't know.
My dad's sitting right over there. We should ask him. He's going to decline. But the education our dad Tom gave us about racing cars, how to get the best out of all 4 tires, and maybe the little bull ring track that we grew up on at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It was a fast 3/8 mile. And if you slipped up just a little bit, you lost a ton of time. And all the different videotape we reviewed, all the different tracks we went and traveled to, I don't know what it is about this place that fits our style. There's not a lot of braking here, and Kyle and I are notorious for being hard on brakes. It's why, you know, it took him forever at Martinsville to find that rhythm. It's just the attack, to go after it. You run hard. You run 99% here all the time, and that's what Kyle and I do, and it pays off at this track until you step over that 1% line. And this track just fits our style. I don't know what it is about it. You know, a guy like Larson, we know he goes 99% all the time, and now he's starting to find his rhythm.
What does it mean to you, if anything, that the Busch name is now cemented? Not that, I mean, you're both champions, but the more you two accomplish, and as brothers, not even teammates, but, you know, Petty, Labonte, like Allison, what does it mean to you that the Busch name is up there?
We'll just keep going. There's nothing that you set forth to have as targets with name or, you know, legendary status with your brother, or with my dad was a great racer at the local level. I mean, it's nice though that there are the big wins. We both are champions, and we've both been through a lot. And the next thing you know, there's another one in victory lane, and it's still fun. It's still a fun challenge, and the books and the different accolades and the trophies and things will just, in due time, will tell their stories. But I don't know. I just haven't really thought about it, and it'll all just kind of pan out where it does.
We'll go to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, kicking tires.net, PRN again. You mentioned 6 trophies when you won your last trophy here. They didn't have swords. This place, what are you going to do with a sword now?
You're killing me over there, Smalls. Yeah, there's this new Gladiator Coliseum sword thing, of course. Better watch out, you know, it might be sharp. Yeah, we'll find special places. I think that'd be a great gift for all the guys, you know, to take away something special from this race, to have that and to conquer the Coliseum. I mean, I tell people all the time, go to cool tracks here, go to cool tracks there, but when you come to Bristol, make sure you're ready for a show, because this place puts on a show. The grandstands, the atmosphere. This is a marquee Type 5 event on our calendar, and it's really neat to win here.
Go to Caleb.
Caleb Whistler, kicking the tires on that. Kurt, you said your goal is 30. Kind of what's next on the Kurt Busch bucket list?
Southern 500. That's next week. Right, Billy?
Yep.
We'll go after all of them. What's on your next list? What do you got? Billy, how many you want?
I'm working on number 2.
Okay. Right. Baby steps.
We have
But yeah, same one, Darlington.
We have a few questions up in the press box, but before we go there, are there any other questions for Billy? Yes. Go ahead.
Deb Williams, RacingToday.com. Congratulations. This is a 2-part question. One, Kurt, with it having been so long between the Daytona 500 victory and this one, how have you handled it emotionally? And Billy, because you're in your situation, how has Kurt's experience in these type of striving to win and all helped you?
Well, first off, I mean, he obviously knows what it takes. To do this 30 times is pretty impressive. But you know, he's never lost the confidence. I don't think it's ever been a question of if the next one will come, it's when. And there's been a lot of opportunity there. It's just putting it all together. These things are no doubt. Everybody knows it's hard to win, and everything has to go right, and you have to be in the right position at the right time, and have the car right, and not have damage, and everything else has to go into it. So I think it's been clear to him he's had plenty of opportunity to do so. It just hasn't all come together. So I don't think I don't know how it was before, and he can elaborate on that part, but just having that confidence carry over to us, we could feel it. Like, he didn't ever question whether it was a possibility to win. It was always, we're going to win. We just need to put it all together, and yeah, tonight's a good example.
Yeah, having raw speed in the car is very important, but you can't have any weak areas. And if we've had any weak areas, it's been driver on late race restarts, and some of those have been forced by some slower pit stops. Tonight, the stops were perfect. There was no need to get in a panic, and it unfolded nicely on restarts for us. We executed as a team.
All right, there's a question in the press box for Billy as well.
Lee Spencer, RacingVoice.com. For Billy, what was that? I'm sorry. For Billy, when you've worked with a lot of drivers before, can you talk a little bit about the team building skills that Kurt has? I mean, he's kind of notorious for doing fun things with the guys, and then I have one for Kurt.
Yeah, absolutely, and that goes a long way. And you know, I've been fortunate to be involved in some good teams along the way, and that's carried over into my mentality too. You know, we've had just in the last month, I think we've had numerous events, going to the Rock Quarry, his birthday party. Even we went testing in Texas this week, and the guys that were there, we all hung out at the basketball court at the hotel, shooting hoops and joking around, making fun of each other. So, no, it's you can tell he genuinely loves everybody on the team and believes in them all, and that does make a huge difference. It's special to get a lot of them their first win, but I mean, as a group to win, it'll be cherished and appreciated.
And Kurt, over those last 24 laps, in the early stages of the race, I saw you driving all over, just trying to find the line. It was like you were packing away information that you would use in the closing stages of this race. So what was going through your mind over those last 24 laps on old tires?
Yeah, track position is key, but the heat cycles on the tires are going to change which lane that you choose. With fresh tires, the bottom lane is going to give you the speed you need for 10 laps minimum, and then it's a matter of going up high and not losing lap time when you switch lanes. You just have to throw the car in there, stab the gas, and go. And with the heat cycles and Larson starting behind me, I had no doubt in my mind I needed to own the high lane. That's Larson's MO, and if you take somebody's strength away, that means you're ahead of them. And so it just worked out where I had track position, I had the lane to choose, I hit my restart, and then you just check out.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions upstairs for Billy?
No, we're good.
Okay, Billy, you're good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Are there any other questions down here for Kurt?
Yeah, I want to go too.
It looks like you could go too.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
All right.